Well, this is an update. It's raining outside, so I'm in a metal building. You might be able to hear the rain, but hopefully this video will turn out all right. I've got a new phone, and I'm going to try taking the videos with it. But anyway, this is an update on the 36. Did some modification on the seat mounting and got it situated so that, I'm sitting where I can reach the pedals and the steering wheel and everything. And my clutch issue, my throwout bearing that was rattling back and forth down in there, was because I did not have this thing right here. This is a stop because this pedal would go all the way forward, and that took that bearing, and then there's just too much throw in that shaft, and it wasn't set up the way it would be in the truck, because this pedal comes through the floorboard, and then the floorboard stops like right here, and so it hits your pedal. And you see I've got probably 3/4 of an inch, half-inch travel before it engages. So I made that. Just an old leaf spring that I cut and welded to a piece of angle iron. Anyway, my steering shaft was flopping around there. I tightened up the bolts down in here, which helped tremendously. But anyway, we cut a piece of angle iron, and I welded a channel on the top, which kind of keeps it in position. It still kind of goes up and down, flops a little bit, but it's okay. Finally got my oil line and ran it up, and I built a little dashboard. So I've got an oil gauge, oil pressure gauge, and then I got my temperature gauge, my choke, and my ignition. And I finished that up today. Got a piece of angle iron and welded to a plate and bolted it down to the bolt there for the starter pedal. Put the air cleaner on it. What else? Oh, I had some issue with my alternator was smoking. I took it down the road, and man, there was smoke rolling off of that, and I didn't know what the issue was there. Brought it back and went on to the VCCA and made a comment, and they said that you have to have these wired to your battery or grounded, I guess, so that they don't burn up. And so what I did is I took and measured the voltage coming out of here. It was about 7.5 volts, which is good because I got a 6-volt system. So I just ran a wire down and around, and coming up over here, and then it goes up over here to the battery. And I hooked that up, and bingo, I didn't have any more smoking, and I didn't ruin the generator, so that was a good thing. Today, I took it out for about a 3-mile drive, and brought it back, and then I adjusted my valves while they were hot. I hadn't done that yet, and they were all pretty close anyway. So got that all done. I had drained all the water out of it that I'd put in originally because there was still a lot of corrosion, rust and stuff from years of sitting, because it sat for 9 years on that stand over there, and so you get rust, and so I didn't want it plugging up my radiator. So I took and drained that, and I had a leak down here where this oil line goes up through the block. And so what I did is I pulled that out, drained all the water out of the block with that, and pulled that off, and I put some pipe goop on it and snugged it up, and it sealed. So everything's good. Everything's really good. I mean, I don't have any leaks to speak of. You look underneath, you see some of the rust marks from where the water was running. You got a few old oil spots, but there's nothing fresh there. You can see the top of my fuel pump is wet. I've got to address this nut here. I think this gasket is bad. That's where the fuel's coming out, so I'll take care of that. Put the valve cover on and cinched it down today, and I think that's going to stop a lot of the leaking in the bottom of the valve cover there. But yeah, you get leakage down around here where there's a gasket back behind this plate, and I kind of figured you'd get some leakage here and there. You know, it's not bad. I just wipe it off after I run it. But everything is working. Brakes work like a champ after I adjusted them. I couldn't believe that's my throw on my pedal. I don't know if you remember before, but I would take that all the way down because the wheel cylinders were never adjusted after I put them in. And the brake lines still leak a smidgen, but it isn't even enough to get it on the floor. So, you know, it's like I'm not going to worry about it. The noise in the bottom of the engine, there's still a little bit of a thudding. I don't even want to call it a knocking, but I don't really think it's going to be anything serious. I'm not going to worry about it. If it gets worse, we'll worry about it then. But yeah, just thought I'd let y'all see what I did here in my ignition switch. You know, you just turn it on. But what I did is I put a wire, and I had an old cable with a clamp on it. I forget what I took this off of. But this is kind of handy because then I can just clip that onto your positive cable. And just in case, you know, when you turn it off, it keeps draining the juice, you know, type deal. So just a disconnect. But I haven't worked the emergency brake yet. But I did today take it out, like I said, for about a 3-mile drive and put her into neutral and just slowed her down with the brakes, and they work really good. Got my shift knob on, isn't that special? Oh yeah. And got the steering wheel, got the nut on so it don't come off. But this is one of my next projects too. I've got to take that off because you can see it's got some cracking going on, and so we're going to fill that with epoxy, and then I'm going to paint it. It's definitely needs a paint job. But I'm still in search of these pieces. If anybody has any laying around, I want to get rid of them, not for an arm and a leg, but anyway. I saw a guy on eBay had the whole surround, and I was kind of interested in it, and he's got a reserve of $450 just for that piece of metal that goes around it. I said, yeah, $450. Well, guess what? My pieces I will take and make them for $450. But anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at. I just thank everybody for watching and following along. And we're going to, once I want to build outside of my shop, a carport, a 21 by 24 carport, and put some stone down in that. And when I do that, then this truck will go out there and sit underneath that. It's going to have siding on the one side, and it'll be butted right up against the shop itself. So, but that is my next project. Basically, I got to get the foundation set up for that. That's what this piping here is. I'm going to make some little pylons and put in the ground and fill them with concrete and anchor bolts so that I can set it on there to make it level, you know, the carport. But then this will go in here, go in there, and my boat and my trailer and things like that. And then once this is out of here, then we're going to go up here and pull this down. And yeah, just keep looking it over. Look at all the holes. This firewall. Yeah, look at this. Isn't that nice? Someone decided they needed a hole, and so they took a claw hammer and just whacked a hole in it. And you can see there's another one down here too. Yeah, those are going to be fixed. Yeah. So I've got to do that. I got to figure out which holes I will need. I'm guessing that these are probably your heater holes, but they're awfully small, really. I mean, you can look at them, the size of my finger goes in there. So, but this is for your ignition, goes in there, and yeah, I'll get that down and we'll start taking it apart and get all my lines out of there for my gauges. And then we're going to start going to town on it. And I just haven't decided yet. I have a buddy of mine that does auto body. He retired from it, and I don't know if he would be up to working on it rather than me doing it. Like I said, I can weld all the holes shut, get all that taken care of. And if you look up here, you can see a crack on the A pillar there. I got one on each side. That's going to have to be cut out and welded. And then up on the roof, I don't know if you can see it there. There's some holes. They had a light up on the roof and stuff. And in the back of the cab, you can kind of see these holes right up in there. They had something mounted on the back of the cab too. So there's holes all over the place. This truck was a company truck for some company. I don't know what it is. I haven't been able to read it on the door, but anyway, that's the plan. And then the other thing will be the doors, which are up there at the top. You see it says, you probably can't see it. Let me see if I can zoom in there. It says O'Neill. So that was the company. But anyway, we got a long way to go yet. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and any comments, please put them in the comment section below, and we'll try to get back with you. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. And I almost forgot, we got to do a startup, don't we? So take and put my hot cable down on my battery, and it's warmed up somewhat. Temperature gauge is, it's not all the way down, but it doesn't idle real smooth, and I'm still horsing around with adjustments on this carburetor, but gotta make sure it's out of gear. This morning, fortunately, it didn't start, but I hit the starter and it lurched forward, and this thing here hit my leg, and whoa, when I reached up and knocked it out of gear, I said, ooh, that could have been dangerous. But let me give her a start here. There you have it. One of my next projects too that I forgot to mention is I'm going to take it up to the exhaust shop. We're going to put a exhaust system in it. I got a muffler, but yeah, we're going to get an exhaust system run back, and it'll come out the back. But you can hear it runs idles kind of rough. I don't know why, but yeah, don't let that oil pressure alarm you, because we do not have pressurized oil systems on the dipper that oil things down in the drain tube. So it's running about 2 to 3 pounds right now. When you give it a little gas, it'll go up, obviously. Nice. Oh, that's nice. I like it. Thanks for watching.